Hi everyone and welcome to another lab video. Today we're going to go over how we clean and sanitize any really lab materials that we use that interacts with subjects during our experimentation process. Today we're going to go over our Cavicide usage procedures, and to do that we're going to need three basic things. We're going to need 2 rinse containers and 1 container containing the Cavicide. What we're going to do first is fill up our pre-rinse bucket and our post-rinse bucket from our deionized water filters. That way we can make sure all of our products, all of our experimentation equipment stays in good state. So what we're going to do first is we're going to be sampling using the Parvo medical cart equipment today, using the mouthpiece that a subject would have just used. To do this, you want to make sure we disassemble all the equipment in full, so and then put them in the pre-rinse for 5 minutes. One thing that's really important is any equipment that touches one another or fits together, we want to make sure we take that apart so that there's no bacteria or any viruses that can stay in there for our next usage on subjects. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these in our pre-rinse container to make sure that we get all of the saliva and all that good stuff off. And we want to make sure that all equipment is submerged. We don't want to have any that's sitting out on top or not under fully. What we're going to do is we're going to leave those in there to sit for 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and continue with the rest of the process. Alright guys, so now that our 5 minutes are up, now it comes the time that we move our stuff that's in the pre-rinse into our Cavicide material. So for our exercise physiology lab, our Cavicide is in this green bucket, covered to make sure that no particles or water gets in there and dilutes it. And each lab has its own container of Cavicide, so if you're looking for that, make sure you ask the professor where that is. When we're transferring our stuff, we want to make sure we're using tongs, because we no longer really want to touch it because it's in the process of getting sanitized. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the lid from the Cavicide here, and we're going to transfer all the pieces of our one-way valve into the Cavicide to let it sit. And then once we have all those pieces transferred into the Cavicide, we're going to let them sit there for 15 minutes. It is important that you set a timer for this 15 minutes because the Cavicide is very harsh on plastics, and if left in there for any longer than 15 minutes, it can lead to degrading the plastics and limiting the lifespan of our equipment. So make sure we set a timer for 15 minutes and we have someone ready to take these out at that mark. So we're going to leave these set for 15 minutes.
Here you go.
Alright, now that our 15 minutes are up and our timer has told us so, we want to take our plastics out of the Cavicide, or all of our materials out of the Cavicide, and put them in a post-rinse. It is important that we use a separate container from the one that we used in the pre-rinse, as that water that's in the pre-rinse is all full of our saliva and stuff from our subject before we've rinsed it off. So what we're going to do, once again, using our tongs, is we're going to remove all of the stuff from the Cavicide, making sure to shake as much back into the container so you can conserve it as much as possible. So once that's removed, you're going to want to leave those parts in there for at a minimum of 5 minutes, and then after that you're going to put that in the or on the drying rack that's in the separate sink or up to the side of the sink to be allowed to dry. Ideally you would hang out and put that away, but if not, that's okay. One thing that we want to make sure though is at the end of every experiment that we leave time for at least this 25-minute process so that all of our lab material can be cleaned. And once again, it is important that we don't leave any plastics in the material, in the Cavicide for longer than 15 minutes so we don't have any degradation of our lab equipment. So this is how we clean our equipment in all of our labs, anything that comes in contact with the subjects. So thank you and have fun in lab.